everyone. Welcome to today's global technical webinar for partners. You might have attended our Kaspersky Next XDR Expert Sales and Marketing webinar last week, but today this is a special session for technicians, for pre-sales engineers, for everybody who is involved in installation and deployment process of the product. As you might see, we have a lot of experts of Kaspersky Next XDR Expert. We have Anton Solovey, Pavel Petrov, and Renat Gimadiev. So we will dive deep into the technical aspects of the product and also have a demo at the end. Please confirm in the chat that you can see the presentation and also that the sound is good for you, so our session is successful. While you're doing that, I would like to encourage you to ask questions to our experts, technical questions about the product, because this is session not only for us to demonstrate and talk to you about the technical aspects of the product, but also to answer your questions. Also, a reminder, we are making the recording of this webinar and you will receive the slides and the recording in the follow-up emails tomorrow. And also this will be placed on the partner portal so you can access it anytime. Stay tuned. And also at the very end of the session, when we finish, we will have a short survey, just 2 questions. Please rate today's webinar because we want to make sure that these sessions are useful for you, that they bring value, and that we should keep running them. And also you might want to add some topics that you are interested in, and we might cover them in the future webinars, in the future technical sessions. I see that the people are saying that the sound is fine and everything's working decently. So I would like then to pass the stage to our first presenter today, to Anton Solovey. Anton, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. So I'm Anton. I'm the product manager for Kaspersky XDR. With me today is Pavel Petrov, product manager of EDR Expert, and Renat Gimadiev, our product expert who knows the system inside out. So we're here today to talk about latest updates in our detection and response products. This is a really big release for us, probably the biggest we've done. And I know big release gets thrown around a lot, but this one actually is. And the quick context before we started, XDR Expert 2.0 and corresponding EDR Expert 8.0 is not just an update with some new features. We rebuilt the platform, the different architecture, different approach to how everything fits together. If you've been working with our, for example, XDR Expert from 1.x versions or EDR Expert up to 7.1 version, you'll notice this pretty fast. So we'll go through the technical details, show you what the new interface looks like, talk about migration if you need, and we'll leave time for questions at the end because I'm sure you have them. And all right, let's get into it. So, well, quick look at what we are going. First thing to understand, this is the largest platform update we've ever done, as I mentioned before. So we didn't just add features or tweak the UI, we rebuilt the core architecture. Why we did this? There are 2 main reasons. We wanted to reduce total cost of ownership for deployments, and we needed better UX for the people actually using this every day. Those 2 things drove most of our decisions we made. So now product options. We have 2 options in this release. The XDR Expert 2.0 is the full package for extended detection and response that covering cross-correlation and third-party responses. Then there is EDR Expert 8.0, same underlying platform, OSMP, but focused on endpoint scenarios. Both products run on the same architecture So you're getting the benefits either way. How we will structure this? We will start with architecture overview. What changed, why it matters, what it means for deployment and operations. So let's move on and let's talk about what actually the old architecture prior to XDR Expert 2.0, for example, had some problems, not deal breakers, but things that made life harder than it needed to be. You had separate consoles for SIEM, EDR, and XDR scenarios. So if you're a SOC analyst and you need to pivot from an alert to endpoint data to, for example, log correlation, you're switching between interfaces. The different navigation, different workloads, it seems a little bit clunky, right? So there was also a thing called EDR central node. It was an additional component we had to deploy for certain scenarios, and this was the foundation. Um, and it brought its own database with it. More moving parts, more complexity, more things to maintain. All of this added up to higher cost of ownership. So more hardware to spec and manage, more training your team, more operational overhead. So version 2.0, if we talk about XDR and EDR 8.0, if we talk about EDR is different. We unified everything to a single console, the OSMP console, the interface for all scenarios. So you can go from correlation to endpoint forensics to response actions without changing context, right? So it's just faster. Um, we moved some parts that was like standalone into the Kubernetes cluster architecture. So almost all containerized now. Um, so that makes deployment cleaner, the scaling easier, and we are working on full high availability support. Should be ready later this year. Hardware requirements are down too. You need less resources to run the same workload. There is a small asterisk that where there are category deployments under the 1000 nodes, but for most environments, this is a real cost saver. So we also rebuilt even data model from scratch for better normalization, better query performance, and the next one is deployment process. The process is streamlined, scalability much better. And this isn't fresh. The whole foundation changed. Um, yeah. So the main thing here is that we have the same platform under the hood. Yeah, right. So we have the ISMP platform as the technological platform, as the foundation for the different products. For now, this is the XDR expert and EDR expert. So we have the single distributive that user uses for the deployment. And after the deployment, the functionality depends only uh, on the license installed into the product, right? So, okay. Um, yeah. So let me show you visually. This is what the architecture looked like before XDR Expert 2.0. So you see three different UI components here: the OSMP UI, SIEM UI, the EDR UI. So an analyst who needs to understand these different interfaces, different ways of navigating, it's not terrible, but it's not efficient either, right? So when you've got these EDR CM nodes sitting in the middle, right? It's a separate component, and it's there because of how we designed the whole system, but adds complexity. So more things to deploy, more things to configure, more things can even break. The rest of the pieces are the same. So we've got Kes sending the data, third party coming in the storage, sandbox storage, and the sandbox for the analysis. So all connected to the OSMP cluster and XDR expert application. Now look at version 2, at the XDR expert version 2.0. And the corresponding EDR expert 8.0. So one UI, right, like here, that's it. Everything goes through the OSMP UI, SIEM scenarios, XDR scenarios, EDR scenarios, all in the same place. So you don't switch context anymore. You stay in one interface and do your SOC analyst work. The EDR central node is gone. We don't need it anymore because of how we restructured things, fewer moving parts, cleaner architecture, and the other central node is dissolved in the OSMP cluster and changed by another component of our under the hood SIEM system. The practical impact, we optimize the sizing for EDR deployments. You're looking at about 30% reduction in resource requirements, depending on the sizing. For XDR, it's closer to 60%. It's also depending on the amount of sizing. So that's the real cost savings on hardware. Yeah, let's move in further. And this is the architecture detail of the Kubernetes architecture. You've got your master nodes running the control plane, the SIEM services, the storage like PostgreSQL cluster for data storage. Then there's worker nodes where everything else runs, SIEM for log processing, the ClickHouse storage, the incident response platform automation, and the infrastructure components. So on the right side, you see our products that connected to these services, right? So I'm not gonna walk through everything and every box here. This slide is in the deck if you want to dig into the the specifics later. I just wanted to show you how modular these things actually is now. And well, so this slide isn't meant to wow anyone. It's just a quick map of what's actually inside OSMP. So think of it as here's what we are working with for anyone who wants to dig deeper later. First, the platform core, right on the upper side. This is the backbone. We've got the Kaspersky deployment toolkit handling setup for pre-checks, for the cluster preparation, for the health checks. Then the Kubernetes cluster itself, the counterplane services, storage network, runtime, and many more. Next, the shared services and products, things like the hierarchy system, the asset manager, the web console, and many other services and other words, right? So, and finally, oh, sorry, product modules and right, the product modules like NGFV for network security threat detection, and the EDR as the endpoint scenarios product, and MVC plugins, web console plugins, I mean. So honestly, this isn't about the selling, it's about showing how many pieces we're like juggling. So this is the structure. Yeah, now let's talk about the improvements, the infrastructure improvements delivered in 2025. Install time got cut way down. So we used to take close to 2 hours. Now it's around 20 minutes on the appropriate hardware, right? That's a big difference when you're doing testing and rolling out to the multiple sites, for example. So we added over 60 pre-flight checks before install even starts. The toolkit validates CPU, RAM, IOPS, network configuration, the OS version, and many more things. So catches problems early instead of failing halfway through deployment, right? Next, we added air-gapped installation option. You can now deploy in environments with no internet access. So you do need one host with with the connectivity to build the installation bundle. But after that, the installation runs completely offline. So it's like critical for certain deployments like governance. Yeah, right. We added code backup and restore, and it's standardized. We will implement procedures for that. So we added covers for support in our IAM, and many more. So let's move on to the next, and that's about the alerts. It's just one thing we did in XDR Expert 2.0 is bring EDR types into the XDR scenarios. Before, some of these were available if you were running the pure standalone EDR. So now they are unified in the one same, the unified console, right? So I'm not gonna walk all the types. So the main thing that we alerts and placed into the single IRP system inside of the OSMP platform and in XDR Expert and EDR Expert products. Assets got reorganized. So we have the device management, categorization, inventory control, operations stuff. So we have the security work, like for the SOC analysts. So to launch response actions on the top of the assets, so like open remote terminal sessions to open to run live investigation. So everything you need actually respond to an incident. Yeah. And the interesting feature is the hierarchy mode that we introduced in this version. This is a new in XDR Expert 2.0. This is for MSPs, for prizes, for anyone who needs to manage multiple separate XDR deployments by one centralized visibility. The setup is simple. You have a parent instance and one or more child instances. So each child is its own full XDR deployment, right? So and that interconnected between each other. They are operationally independent to the parent. And here's what gets changed. The users, roles, policies, that security content like detection rules flow down from the parent to child. The dotted arrow at the top shows this. Create a new policy or update a detection rule on the parent, child instances inherited. They can see it, use it, so keeps that keeps things consistent across the infrastructure. Alerts and incident flow the other way, the solid arrow at the bottom, and child instances send their alerts and incidents up to the parent. So from the parent console, you get the visibility into everything happening across all connected instances. You can search events, view alerts, see what's going on everywhere. But you manage the actual response at the child level. the parent sees it, the child handles it. And asset categories are, if you define an asset category on the parent, child instances can use it for their own devices. But the parent can directly manage child assets, and child can see parent assets, so data stays isolated. So why this matters? If you're running security operations for multiple customers or multiple subsidiaries, you don't want to log into the 10 consoles, right? The hierarchy mode lets you see everything from one place while keeping tenant data separate. Each child instance stay independent, but you get the big picture. Moreover, in any time, you can disconnect the child instance, and child instance become the standalone installation. Okay, let's move on and switch gears to the AI features. So 6 features split into 2 groups on the slide.
Do you hear me?
Top LLM dependencies, account. Yeah.
Just a second before you move on with the AI features. Can I ask you to switch the video off?
Let's continue. So the top. Sorry, what to switch?
Can you please switch the video off, because there are some interruptions in the sound, and maybe the bandwidth will be more stable without the video.
Oh, let me disable
Let's
the
try
camera,
that
for
again.
example. Is it okay? Okay. So the top 3 features work without any external LLM dependencies. The account builds a behavioral baseline for login activity and flags deviations. Will be extended up to port connections next, maybe. So activity scoring models normal host behavior, detects animals, our chains, and it's trainable in near real time, which also helps with the cold start. The DLL hijacking detection identifies legitimate software running with the malicious libraries by analyzing launch parent. Hard to catch. It's hard to catch with static rules. The bottom 3 are marked need for LLM. That's meaning they require integration with an external. So it's currently not working, and we are planning to expand the availability during this year by adding bring your own key features. So that's it, I think. And it's yes, that's it. So the next slides would be about the EDR, and it's over to Pavel. Pavel, are you here?
Yeah, thank you, Anton. We'll move on with the presentation.
Pavel, are you here? Do you hear me?
Yeah, here.
So, yeah, you will share your insights, right?
Yeah, hello, colleagues. I want to share with you our future plans. So Anton has shared with you new features that we got in version 8.0, and we will proceed with new versions we have this year. So the first version was released, it's 8.0.1. In this version, we improved data migration from previous versions, from version 7.1. And right now, data migration can be done with a special utility for data migration. We support all data migration, including settings, user accounts, alerts, and even telemetry events from the
Pavel, sorry to interrupt you. Are you sharing the slides?
Yes.
Oh, we cannot see the slides, unfortunately. Can you please reshare them once again? because
Okay,
I assume you're talking through some content, but unfortunately, I'm not able to see them. Okay, now it's there. Thank you.
It's visible. Okay. Okay. Let's start once again. So I was talking about that this year we have next new versions, and Anton has shared features for 8.0, and we have a new releases 8.0.1 with data migration from a previous version 7.1 to 8.0. We can migrate all the data from previous version, and we have a little improvement for EDR scan via command line for Kaspersky endpoint security for Windows. This feature also was improved in version 8.0.1. By the end of Q1 in March 2026, we will have a new version 8.1. In this version, we are planning to add a couple of new features. It's a custom text banner for EDR expert login page. So for login page for web page OSMP. And next feature is our support for virtualization. Right now we are support VMware ESXi hypervisor, and in 8.1 we will support Hyper-V, Microsoft Hyper-V 2022, to be able to install EDR server components on it, except sandbox components. And by the end of this year, we are also planning to add a great new version, 9.0. And firstly, we will be talking about detection rate improvement. In this version, we are planning to add the new detection technology called deception and known as deception. We will add decoy objects in Active Directory, Microsoft AD, and for example, weak passwords, weak user accounts, and we will monitor the usage of these user accounts. And in case hackers or attackers use these user accounts, we will raise an alert, and our customers will know about ongoing attack inside the infrastructure. Apart from that, we are planning to add granular filters improvements for telemetry collection. Previously, we had these improvements for Windows and Linux operation system, and in version 9.0, we will add the same for macOS platform. Also, we will add the block and allow lists improvements for EDR functions. Previously, we have this block allow lists only for network scenarios for Kata. But in version 9.0, we will have the same block allow lists for EDR engines, for example, for anti-malware engine, for sandbox, for scanning for indicators of attack, and so on. In version 9.0, we are planning to improve our sandbox detection, and we will add support of Windows 11. So we will add the ability to add image with Windows 11. And also we will update support of Windows 10. We will update the version. Right now it's very old, and we will update the version of Windows 10 for Sandbox. Also in this version, we are planning to add manual URL submission to Sandbox. Right now we support only file submission to Sandbox. And also in this version, we will add a list of all scanned files in Sandbox. So not only malicious, but also clean files with the verdict clean. So our customers will be able to understand which files were scanned and with which result. Continue with detection rate improvement. In this version, we are planning to add a lot new telemetry, which will be collected from hosts. We will add some telemetry for Windows operation system, for Linux, and for macOS as well. Regarding response improvements, in previous version, in 8.0, we have added a great feature. It's called Live Shell, and in 8.0 it works for Windows and Linux operation system. So all commands available in command line interface are available in this Live Shell, and also our own responses, EDR responses, also available via Live Shell. And in version 9.0, we will add the same feature for macOS platform. Also, we will improve response actions for macOS. We will add ability to terminate process, to isolate a host from the network. We will add operation to delete file, quarantine file, or run a scan for indicators of compromise. And we will continue to add the new responses for Windows and Linux operation system. And in this version, we will add file upload on remote host feature. Also, we are planning to further improve our automatic response actions. As you know, in version 8.0, we got automatic responses via playbooks, which are working on the server side. And in version 9.0, we are planning to add automatic response actions on protected host side. So our automatic responses will be available even if there is no connection between endpoint and between EDR server. This will work for Windows and Linux platforms in 9.0. And further improvements regarding forensics for Windows and Linux operation system, we are planning to further improve. This feature, where we will add the ability to collect list of local user accounts, list of user groups, active user sessions, and open network connections as well, and many more. And regarding MDR integration, in version 8.0, we have added manual submission of incidents from our EDR to MDR service. And in version 9.0, we will do it automatically. We will test this functionality firstly in one region and then share it with other regions. And the last features here is virtual infrastructure support improvements. As you know, we have added, we're planning to add in 8.1 Hyper-V support. And in 9.0, we are planning to make this list better. We are planning to add OpenStack support. Except Sandbox, we are planning to add Huawei virtualization platform support and several hypervisors called Basis, VM Manager, Yandex Cloud, except Sandbox. And we are planning to improve VDA scenarios for endpoint agents, which are working inside VDI infrastructure. And some other improvements, we are planning to add LAN bonding mode support for EDR server companies if they have two network interfaces. And we will add a small feature, text comment for custom exclusions for IAA rules in order to our customers do not forget why they created exclusion for this IAA rule. So this is all from my side. I will pass my word to my colleague Renat. Thank you, Chris.
Renat, you should now be able to present.
Yes, I'm able to present. Just give me 1 second. I will switch the screen and I will share the demo with you, colleagues.
And while you're doing that, to the team of experts, please check the chat because there are some questions there.
Okay. So what's the draw? Okay, colleagues, I will turn off my camera because I think it might affect the bandwidth. Just a second. So let me make it pretty short and pretty clear. This is the main console. If it's not clear, please zoom in a bit. I'll also try to zoom in, but I'm not sure that it will definitely help. So what we have in the main console of the product when we finish the installation and we are ready to connect, first we'll see a second factor authentication greeting window. So I previously passed it, but for the newcomers in KC and in OSMP, we must enable two to second factor authentication for better protection of our security product. So here we'll see the same console, and for those who are familiar with KC platform, you will not be really surprised. But we have a new tab on the bottom called Detection and Response. So it goes through many consoles in our interfaces. And here we have dashboards that are pretty similar to what we actually have in our Kuma and our XDR 1.4 version. So there are lots of dashboards that you can use related to products and some compliance regulation, for example, PCI DSS, and so on. So all of them are actionable, and if you would like, you can click and drill into some details. What else? So let's open the first menu called monitoring, and there we have dashboards reports. One interesting section called threat hunting. So this is what we receive from Kuma. So the menu where we can do our threat hunting requests, where we can check the details about our logs coming to the XDR or our components that are sent to us some critical information. I have some safe searches, so let me use some of them. So one is for EDR and one is for Kuma. So for example, this is for our internal EDR. So the EDR that we have inside the platform. So we can monitor, we can check some details. If something not clear, we can ask, can of course ask our threat intelligence or our LLM model. So actually I have an integration with our cloud LLM model that you might use here. So let me find something really interesting that might be used for that purpose. Like here, for example, we see this button analyze with keyword and some fields that are suitable for that. Okay, so we can ask, for example, this process. So what is it? And click analyze. So this is how it actually works. With Kira, you don't need to type a prompt, so the prompt is predefined, and then LLM model explain to you what happens here and there. So pretty interesting. We also have a thing that a new thing that we can use, to create some new SQL queries. So this query I created by myself, but if you're not familiar with SQL queries, you can use a query builder here. Or if you're still not confident with your SQL knowledge, you can ask Kira to generate a SQL query for you. So like describe what you're searching for, final events from this IP address for the last 24 hours. And as a result, this query will be generated and appear on your screen. So we will pass this and return to it a bit later if we have time. So the second section is alerts and incidents. The most interesting parts related to alerts and incidents. Now, alerts can be automatically grouped into incidents based on specific parameters. For example, here I have incident 6, which might be really interesting. So all these alerts from 24 to 29 were generated and grouped into incident ID 6. So let me open this incident and check what it is. So as you may see, we have a bunch of technologies that were applied to detect all these potential threats. So all the threats were generated based on our test samples. So they are not real and they are not harmful. But anti-malware, sandbox, Yarrow, IOA, indicator of attack and indicator of compromise, all these technologies we used. So really good combination. And here we have some details. We call it observables, like the information about hashes, file that were used, and so on. And of course, assets. So we can click on the assets and check its detail. Like, for example, this, as a result of these incidents, I executed isolation, and now isolation is in process, and we can check the status here. We also can check the status of real-time protection, status of endpoint sensor. It tells us about EDR expert. We can run some responses from here, like unisolated this host, some databases, manage prevention rules, get the file, forensics, some forensic data, like a disk image or memory dump, and so on. We can scan this host with YARA rules, run the IOC scan or malware scan, or run a program if we know what we need to run there. Okay, we can check this asset in alerts, incidents, and response history, and find it in threat hunting. So it's really good. And from the same menu, we can open a remote terminal. So let's see how it works. So it opened not instantly, but really often, or really quick. And here I can check, for example, the host name of the file of the machine. Maybe IP config. So it tells me the configuration of this machine. I can maybe ping a DC. So DC connection is allowed, so ping will not be blocked, and so on. So pretty interesting thing for communication with the machine, which might be, for example, isolated, or might be potentially compromised. Okay, for another machine, which is Linux, I will run the connection. So it takes some time to connect, so not always it works instantly. What else? So here I can also upload files, write some comments, but let's summarize and wrap up all this data using our modern AI technologies. So why don't rely on it again and again. So while we're waiting, we can assign this to me or assign to one of my colleagues. So all this information can be done automatically based on specific workflow that you can predefine. Let's read the reports about the incidents. So observability lists, like this host, IP address, some data, username, what happened in a timeline, and the case report. So initial scan, Yarrow scan, second Yarrow scan, detection, sandbox detection, process of who am I execution, and final process involving who am I, confirming system, user is system. So really good conclusion. If you need to summarize a lot of data, LLM can definitely help here. So as a result of this, we can run some playbooks, but actually I don't have any for incidents, but for alerts, I can definitely run something. So let me open one of these alerts. Okay, and let me check. So yeah, from here I can also check the details about the sandbox scan results. also really interesting. For these hashes, if I have an integration with Kaspersky tip, I can ask to enrich data about these hashes. So in a one click, the data will be enriched. So while it's executing, let's run a test playbook. I have my custom integration with VirusTotal for enrichment. So why don't we run it against these hashes? Okay, data enrichment was finished. 1 second. Let me refresh the page. Virtualization platform sometimes is not really stable, so it might definitely help. Okay. Okay, while we're waiting, maybe I can jump to another box. Yeah. Definitely. Okay, 1 second, 1 second more. So which I tried this, I believe, 24. Maybe not this, but I don't mind. Okay, no problem. So I previously executed this, so it's better to go to another section called response history. So yeah, and here in response history, I can check the execution of playbook. So actually I'm using Python and the scripts that interact with VirusTotal. So the result is success. That's good. Let's go into alert 27 and check the comments. So actually, the goal of my integration is to put all possible details about these hashes to the VirusTotal, from the VirusTotal to the comments section. So as a result of the execution of this script, we have the file not found in VirusTotal database. So maybe the file is clean, and actually that's not a real problem because this file is actually a test file. We can also check how some detections were executed previously. Like I get the file from the machine like this, and so as a result, I can check the status of this debug section. I can check the execution against all these technologies. So it was detected as infected by anti-malware engine and our sandbox. The same I can check against some other files like this, for example, Yara scan. So a really popular thing. So the result is success. Maybe I click on the wrong one. Yeah, the result is success. So file was identified as malicious, potentially malicious. Let's check on with another one. Okay, the same thing. What else? Like another file and another detection. It was not scanned by Sandbox, but infected by using Yara. So another thing that might help. We have Yara under the hood, so if it's clean for anti-malware engine and Sandbox cannot identify something, maybe Yara is the way. Okay, what else? So I have the same menu section assets where we can monitor the situation, check the configuration of machine, like check the policy, network section, maybe check the status of applications and get some more details. So I'm using the latest versions actually here, and run a response, of course. But in analysis and response section here, there are more interesting things that we can look at. So here, list is wider. We can also open the remote terminal from here too. So let's check. No, it's still connecting. Maybe some network problems, no problem at all. Okay, so all of the settings like users and roles, operations, they're pretty similar to, pretty the same to KSC. So I don't want to spend our time on that. One thing that is important, you might be familiar with our SIEM called Kuma. So now Kuma is a part of the platform and you don't need to jump from one console to another. So it's here in monitoring section, resources and services. So here we have all these collectors. If you need to go to logs from KCP SQL, KC Postgres, so for the internal database, you can just click and the new windows will be open. If you need to manage something, restart the section, remove it, or manage it in some other ways, so you can do it from the same menu, of course. What else do we have here? We have resources and services, for example, normalizers. The easiest way to get new normalizers and new correlators, correlation rules, is to import them from the repository. So the repository is our knowledge base, and that's a place where we upload and publish all the new resources that we have. And at the same time, you can use it as a validation platform with what you have and with what we have as a vendor. So you can compare the install version against the version that is available now. For each of these, you can check the changelog, and sometimes we provide a lot of technical details. So something was changed, something was optimized or improved, and so on. So that's the good way. And there are some packages like XDR package, like PCI DSS package. For example, PCI package for Kuma. It is also available for the XDR too. Some sub-content packs, EUB packs, network package packs, packs for Kuma monitoring, Kata, KC, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of things, a lot of tools that we cover. If we don't cover something now, just ask us. We'll do it real soon. And of course, everything that you might love in EDR, prevention rules, CR rules, IOC, and sandbox, they're all here in the same services and resources. Like here, I uploaded a PDF, ER rule for PDF, and from here I can run the scan. I can also modify some, fine-tune some settings. Same for IOC. So previously I ran this IOC scan, and we can check the details. In a second, the IOC scan was executed here. Second, this success. Not this. I think it was Another year IOC scan. Yes, because I click on the wrong page. Yes, and by the rule IOC 11MD5, the file was detected. And then the bug section, we can check. So rule scanned found. So we found the IOC that we use for detection in that case. So actually all pretty familiar for you capabilities of EDR are available, and it's not a big deal to change the mind how they work and how they worked in EDR 7.1 to the new optimized and modern UI and UX of 8.0 or OSMP 2.0, of course. So, colleagues, I think that's it from my side. We have 1 minute, as I see.
Thank you very much, Renat. Yes, we're actually very sharp with all the content. So I would like to thank all the presenters for great content and demonstration, and I hope it was useful. Also, there have been some questions in the chat, but I see that our experts have been answering those, and almost all of them are now answered. There's just one not answered. New course for EDR 8.0 is coming to the partners platform. Yes, it's coming quite soon, so stay tuned. This will be on the partner portal as usual. We're updating it now. And for the rest, I see that all of the questions have been answered. So we're out of time. So I would like everybody to thank everybody for joining us today. I hope it was insightful. Thank you to our presenters who delivered such a great content. If you still have questions, please write to Kaspersky Next team. If not, then I would like to wish you a great rest of the day. Stay tuned for the follow-up emails with the recording and the slides. And hope to see you at the next webinars. Oh, the questions are still actually arriving, but we need to run. So please stay tuned, and we probably will need to put together the list of questions that are unanswered. And then we will provide some like Q&A document after the session. Or you can always write to Kaspersky Next team. So thank you, take care, and see you on the next webinars. Goodbye.